All right, everybody, this is the Yankee and the Brit. We're here with some quarterback carousel talk for the crazy NFL offseason. I'm Jay, he's Matty, and here we go.
Yeah, so I've got 12 teams that I think have got the biggest questions around quarterback. And I know I'm going to have missed somebody out here. And if I have, put it in the comments and then we'll respond to you underneath. So I'm going to ask Jay the teams that I think have got the most questionable quarterback situations. He's going to give me an answer as to who he thinks the quarterback's going to be for that team, and then we'll compare it to mine at the end and then have a little discussion about the biggest differences or the ones that are the same. So the first team is the Washington football team.
Oh, that's the hardest one of them all because I almost want to say Taylor Heineke just to be an asshole.
Taylor Heineke. Yeah, I like that.
I actually think they end up with somebody in the draft, but I don't know who.
All right. Yeah, I've got draft picks included in mine as well. I like Taylor Heineke, though, as an answer. I think they could try it for the first go-round. The Jets.
Sam Darnold.
Ooh. And trade down. And
I think they're going to trade down. I hate to follow fucking Mel Kiper and his stupid hair, but I think they're going to draft.
Yep.
Oh, what's his name? The tight end from Pitt. I just blanked it, but you guys know.
I know who you're talking about, but I've forgotten his name as well. The guy who's basically a wide receiver.
That you need to get Sam Darnold weapons if you keep him, and this kid is the best receiver, even though he's a tight end in the draft. Big body, can block and move out. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. New England.
Jimmy G.
Ooh. I like that. And then we've got the 49ers are the next one up.
Dak Prescott.
If you guys watch the last video, you'll understand why he thinks that Prescott's going to be moving around.
I do, though. I think there's just going to be a crazy offseason. So
yeah. And then the Steelers.
It's going to be Big Ben. I have no idea why they don't get into some draft or trade talks, but it's going to be Big Ben.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be Big Ben as well. We've got the same on that one. The Cowboys.
Russell
Wilson. Oh, what you've got this is the craziest offseason already. And then we've got the Bears, that's the actual hardest one of all.
Nick Foles
for the Bears. Bears fans will be happy to hear that.
Big Dick Nick, as he is referred to by Pat McAfee.
The Carolina Panthers.
Teddy, and they're going to draft someone.
Do you want to go on who they're going to draft?
Justin Fields.
Yeah. And then we've got the Seahawks.
Trey Lance or Jameis Winston?
Yeah, the Cowboys are drafting 10th. Trey Lance or Jameis Winston?
I think you should do both if you bring in Trey Lance, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. The Miami Dolphins.
Deshaun
Watson. The Saints.
Either Jameis, which I think is a good possibility, but with the news that Breeze might come back, I think they'll be loyal and let Breeze play again if he wants to, and then Jameis.
You really think he's coming back?
I don't know. I've been hearing more and more rumors, and I did not think so until Schefter said that he's still undecided, and that makes me wonder because at first he was decided and now he's undecided, and I think he's the type of guy that if he comes back, New Orleans owes it to him for what he did for that city by coming there. So I think they'll be loyal and give him one more year.
Yeah, and then finally the Texans.
Tua.
Yeah, that's in no particular order, by the way. That was just as they came to my brain. I wrote them down. Obviously, the NFC East takes precedence, and that's why Washington are at the top.
Well, I don't know exactly what teams he was talking about, but Adam Schefter tweeted out that there could be 18 different starting quarterbacks for teams this year. That's insanity.
this is going to be the craziest offseason. And the craziness of the offseason is kind of reflected in my picks as well. So for the Washington football team, where you went for Taylor Heineke, I have put Cam Newton.
And just to throw this in there, I don't know why they're not bringing Alex Smith back, but it looks like they're not gonna.
Yeah, he looks like he was. It felt like he was going to get hurt after every play. Is how I.
But he
feel.
said he wants to play again, so I don't know why
Yeah.
in Washington you don't bring him back because he's better than Cam, but I could see Cam there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good landing spot for Cam Newton. I think kind of a big market, decent change up. I think that really works. For the Jets, you went for Sam Darnold, which obviously I like. I don't think the Jets are smart enough to do that. I think the Jets just go for it. I think they should, but I don't think they're smart enough to do that. You think they will?
Get rid of Darnold, move up to that number in that number 2 spot. They should take Zach Wilson.
I've got them taking Zach Wilson at number 2 purely for the marketability.
I think it's a smart move.
I think it's smarter to trade back and build around Sam Darnold, but I just don't think they will.
I want to see now if I'm them, since we're on them, I've taken Zach Wilson and I'm seeing if I can get that 12th pick from San Francisco for Darnold and building from there. But that's because I am not sold on Sam Darnold, and maybe it was just Adam Gase, but David Carr was killed as a rookie with the Texans and was never right again. And I'm not sure I wasn't sold on Darnold coming out. I was a Baker fan, but even if I'm wrong and he's got all the talent, they might have ruined him. And they ruined him in New York, no matter what happens, my belief. But I think they stay with him.
I don't think Sam Darnold is broken. I think Sam Darnold, whenever you watch the Jets, I don't know why anybody would watch the Jets last season, but Sam Darnold did seem to be the only player that was capable of changing the game for them and capable of actually making a play. We've then got New England, which I've got Marcus Mariota.
I don't think that's bad either. I think it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, you've gone for Jimmy G.
San Francisco finds a quarterback, then Jimmy G ends up in New England again. But that's just because they're sold on him for one, because they know what Jimmy was. And New England's never set up where the quarterback's going to carry you, whatever. But I also could see them drafting a Trey Lance if he's sitting there when they come. But I don't think Trey Lance, they're going to start him right away. So Mariota would be a good guy to sit behind him. I know people are bitching that if Mariota's the starter, then it's $20 million a year. This is the NFL.
That's
you can't get a guy making fucking groceries for less than 18.
That is way below average. Hey, Marcus Mariota would be a good quarterback in the New England mold of offense that was shaped around Cam Newton, because he can move, but he can also throw the ball downfield a bit as well.
I don't know if you ever seen the Ed Norton movie Rounders, but to quote KGB, pay that man his money.
Yeah.
Like, give him his 20 million. Who gives you shit? It's 20
million is nothing. 20 million.
And we're acting like 20 mil's nothing, right? We can kill somebody for 20 mil, right? But the fact is in the scheme of the NFL and a quarterback, they're paying backups 8.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think Marcus Mariota, and if not Marcus Mariota, I would say that Andy Dalton could maybe make an appearance in New England. Andy Dalton is somebody that they're sleeping on because they just presume that the Cowboys are going to sign him again, which I think they will as well. But if I was a team who was just kind of, after what he did last season, you kind of think, let's give him a go at starting.
If you guys watched our Russell Wilson video before this, you'll get this. But Andy Dalton has the best nickname in the NFL with the Red Rifle, Red Rocket, Red Rifle, no matter what you want to call him, right? I've heard both. But again, who you taking? Derek Carr, Andy Dalton.
Derek Carr on that one again.
Okay, now who you taking? Jimmy Garoppolo or Andy Dalton? Your hesitation.
Andy Dalton, I think.
But see, your hesitation is my exact point.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure, and I would just take Jimmy G just on the age, but I agree that they're pretty much the same.
I'm only taking Andy Dalton based on Jimmy G's injuries.
Okay, and Dalton's going to be cheaper. But
Yeah,
I'm just
definitely.
saying, like, he's not a guy you're going to try to win with.
Yeah.
He's a Fitzpatrick bridge quarterback, even though
He's an
Fitzpatrick does
awesome
some
bridge.
crazy shit. Yeah.
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 Andy Dalton is an awesome bridge quarterback. He won't throw a game away for you. If you have weapons around him, like CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, he's more than
Offensive
capable of them
line.
winning games. Offensive line, he is more than capable of winning games.
That was your guys' biggest problem in Dallas was that
Yeah.
that
Everybody was injured.
wrecking crew of an offensive line you had for years wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. And Andy Dalton is somebody people are sleeping on, but I believe a few teams should be looking at him, including the San Francisco 49ers, where I've said Jimmy G is going to stay just because he's got such a massive winning percentage. I can't see him. I can't see them moving off him.
But okay.
Yeah, I think it's mostly Shanahan, but he's in the Shanahan offense. He knows what he's doing. You said Dak Prescott, and I think people are going to want you to explain that a bit more.
I think that there's a good possibility that he ends up re-signing with Dallas. But if he does not, I think if you're Dallas, you got to trade it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you're going to
play him for a year for what? You're not going to win a Super Bowl next year, most likely, right? And you got to bank on the future then, unless you sign Dak up. And if that doesn't happen, I think he's got to go. And the reason I say San Francisco is because I don't think John Lynch and Shanahan are afraid to trade for a quarterback because they have a stacked team and they've done really well late in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dak Prescott will be a Cowboy next year. I think everybody's guessing, hey, I would love to see Russell Wilson there as much as anybody else. But I think he'll be a Cowboy. But if he's not, I can see the 49ers as a landing spot that would kind of work if you were just trading him away for a pick.
Okay. And I know because I like chaos, that's probably a lot to do with my picks. I've always told you about America. What I love about America is the dysfunctional functionality of it. Because I like living in that kind of chaos of it. I think it's great. But tell me a better coach to coach Dak Prescott. Like I said, I don't hate Dak Prescott. I don't love it. I just hate the $40 million tag, right? So who's a better coach, though, and who would get more out of him than a Mike Shanahan and a Mike Shanahan system?
Dak Prescott is kind of a perfect quarterback for that system. And I think it would really work. I don't think it's going to happen. It would definitely work. And it's one of those Madden trades, isn't it? Where we're kind of playing Madden and we're like, who would definitely work?
If you ask me these questions a week before the draft, I'm sure I will give you 12 different answers.
I think we should do that again a week before the draft.
Save that list, Matty, so we can see how crazy my picks went differently.
Yeah, we've also got the Steelers where we've both said Big Ben, but neither of us are happy about it.
Well, it's just like, okay, I can make all the masturbation jokes or whatever, but I'll leave them alone. With Big Ben, it's just one, I don't know if his arm's going to be better. I know a year after Tommy John surgery for pitchers, it's stronger. This isn't something we've seen a lot in the NFL. So the Tommy John surgery is a little bit different for NFL players. Like Tommy John surgery does make it stronger because dumbasses have got it done to their 16-year-old kids so they could be pitchers when they weren't even injured. Yeah. So, but I don't know. Big Ben's not Big Ben anymore. You know what I mean? Again, me and you have both talked about bringing in Dwayne Haskins, which we think is just more of, if you catch lightning in a bottle, great. If not, it costs you nothing. Duck Hodges is not the answer, obviously. Mason Rudolph is not the answer. So why the hell are they not trying to trade? And maybe they are and we're not hearing it, right? Yeah. Maybe that's it. But we don't hear anything about the Steelers trying to move on a future quarterback. And if you look, they were in limbo for fucking years without a quarterback. They had great teams under Cowher, but until they got Big Ben again, you know what I mean? And it's so like, I don't know why they're not making moves.
And I don't know why they're sleeping.
And it's not like they're in a high enough pick to get a rookie that, I mean, and I'm going to shit on him, but unless you want Mac Jones, and the only problem I have with Mac Jones is he's less mobile than Ben Roethlisberger.
My
Like his
thing about
mobility is that of Tom Brady's.
yeah,
So
I was thinking Mac Jones would really work for a few teams who have weapons, but the
yeah,
Steelers'
New
problem
England.
is
I
they
thought
don't have
Mac Jones.
weapons.
I think New England would be a perfect play for Mac Jones with
Yeah, if they go and
Josh
get weapons.
McDaniels and stuff like that. But if you have a bad offensive line and you're starting a young quarterback, Mac Jones is not for you.
Yeah, and the Steelers are sleeping and they're trying to give Big Ben respect and stuff like that. And I'm just like, just get rid of the guy, man. Like
Yeah,
it'll
Mac
be best for
Jones.
everybody in the end.
Yeah, Mac Jones has to be perfect in accuracy in pre-snap reads and post-snap reads because he doesn't have the athletic ability.
Yeah.
So they could get a Mac Jones where they draft, but like I said, maybe you're confident that Ben's going to play another year, maybe two, and then you can put him in. But I don't get why it seems like we hear nothing from Pittsburgh about fixing the quarterback position unless they're sold on Dwayne Haskins. Maybe they think something the rest of us don't think. I don't know. But that might be where they're banking for their future. And I didn't think that highly of him coming out of college only because I like more career starts and I'm making an exception for Trey Lance.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne Haskins can't run either. So
Nobody's
they
more
clearly
mobile
just don't
than
like
Mac Jones. Like,
I think everyone's more mobile than Mac Jones and Big Ben, but you know, and then we're through to the Cowboys where you've gone for Russell Wilson and I have put Dak Prescott / Russell Wilson, but I think it's going to be Dak Prescott, but I want it to be Russell Wilson is what I've kind of
okay, if you made me bet, I would bet Dak Prescott probably also, but I'm getting to the point where I'm not sure Jerry's going to pay him.
Yeah, I think there's too much smoke
around it all. I believe it's Steven Jones in Jerry's ear telling him he's not worth the 40. Because if you listen to what happened, if it wasn't for Steven Jones, Johnny Manziel would have been your quarterback. You know what I mean? So I think Steven Jones might be in his ear going, don't pay Dak, don't pay Dak. Where Jerry's like, my hands don't get cramps writing checks. Right?
Yeah, but if
Jerry Jones isn't afraid to write the money, but I think he's letting Steven behind the scenes do most of the running of the team where Jerry's still the figurehead.
Yeah, Jerry Jones isn't afraid to write checks, which means he could sign Dak Prescott, but it also means he could just go for Russell Wilson and not worry about that dead cap hit. You know, and we spoke about this a lot in the last podcast.
Cap hit's not that. It wouldn't be a bad cap hit though if you do a sign and trade where Dak gets his years, his money, but gets shipped to say Seattle, right? Or another 49ers team comes in or something, right? Or a third team. But Dak gets his money in the length of his contract that he wants. Jerry gets Russell, and there's not a huge salary cap. That's why I think it could absolutely work. And if you ask me, I think Russell Wilson's first choice would be Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so as well. Russell Wilson's first choice is definitely Dallas. There's been connections for a long time. And if you guys want to go listen to that in our last episode, then that's basically what we talk about for like 30 minutes in there, all about that, if that kind of interests you. We're now going to move on to the Chicago Bears, where we've both gone for our boy, Nick Foles. But that's basically because we can't see a way of the Bears getting a different quarterback. We've been trying to find a way and we can't find it.
Okay, I don't think they end up with Watson, but even if they do, they'll give up so much that as a Vikings fan, it doesn't even scare me. Watson scares me, but that team without 4 first-round draft picks after not having 2, that'd be 6 years in a row. And it's not like they didn't do the worst drafting, but they haven't done the best. Their coach is awful. Matt Nagy sucks balls, and he only got the job because he used to work for Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I don't think they get anybody. I think they are the one. What's the game?
They're going to be the one empty chair when it comes to the end of musical chairs.
The empty fucking chair. Yeah, ring around the rosy or whatever. You're ending up with the odd man out because if you go through our last podcast and what we've been saying now is that we think it's Jameis probably in New Orleans. We think it's so where we've went down the line, we don't see a place that has the Bears landing anybody unless you want to go get a Cam Newton or something but I don't see that as a big move.
Unless Breeze stays in New Orleans, that is the way that they would get Winston.
That literally could switch up all my picks because that would change a lot.
Yeah, and
because
I
I'm
think
banking on Breeze being gone.
yeah, I'm also banking on Breeze being gone. But the problem is the quarterbacks that the Bears are in position to get want to go to other places. It's not a problem with the Bears not having the packages to put together, but Russell Wilson has said Cowboys, Raiders, Saints, Bears, and there's two places that can compete on the market size and two places that probably have better rosters when you look at them on paper. When you look
You
at
know
them on
what the
paper
Bears should do?
and just better situations.
Here's what the Bears should do, and people are going to think I'm fucking crazy, but I'm used to it. They should go trade for Josh Rosen.
Oof. Resurrecting him from the dead.
What are you going to get him for? A third, a fourth, a fifth? I mean, seriously.
Less than that.
Right. And he's a kid who had a bunch of promise that never lived up to it.
Yeah. Get him as a backup. I think you could use Nick Foles as your bridge to Josh Rosen and then see what, just tank. Just see what comes out in the draft the next year.
Right, because what are you going to get? Like you looked up their draft pick. It's 20th.
20th, yeah. You can't,
If
like,
you're
there won't
another
be
team-
Mac Jones?
So, yeah, right? Seattle
Are you
says...
taking Mac Jones in the first round?
Yeah, that's... Like I said, it's because he has to be perfect at everything else that I'd have a problem with Mac Jones.
Absolutely
But
not.
if you're a team that's trading a quarterback, you're not going to trade with the Bears because they're drafting 20th.
Yeah. But also feel, yeah.
Unless you
Foles
give up
could
Khalil Mack.
be all right. Yeah, but I mean, Foles could do well. Like, Foles can win games. That's the point, isn't it? But
Right.
If I was them, I'd just kind of tank and see where my draft pick comes out in the next time. Or put a crazy load of picks together and then build round through the second, third, fourth round pick and get one of these elite quarterbacks. That have said that Watson and Wilson have both said the Bears could be a potential place to go. And they have a solid D, but I just don't see it happening.
So here's the thing. Even if you're going to give up either of those guys, my guess is you're probably going to want Khalil Mack because you got the 20th pick, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you decide to give up Khalil Mack. You just went 2 years without a first round pick.
Yeah.
Now you're going to give up Khalil Mack, who you gave up those picks for. Then you're going to give up, 2 or 3 more for Watts or Wilson. So you're going to go 5-6 years without a first round pick for one of these quarterbacks. And if it's Russell Wilson, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but what is he, 31, 32 years old?
Yeah, exactly.
I know quarterbacks are playing later, so even if he plays till 40, but you're still paying for a guy who's got maybe 8 years left, where I would see more of Deshaun Watson because he's 25.
Yeah, I think they could put it together, but it just kind of messes up their team no matter what they do. Then the Panthers I think they've kind of come into the quarterback questions, not because they don't like Teddy Bridgewater, but because of the potential for them to be in the draft for a quarterback or to make a big play for who I've got written down here as Watson. I've put down Fields and I've also put down Watson, but I think I'm going to go for Fields.
Now, like I said, I think Teddy will still be there. He'll start and they'll draft Justin Fields or somebody, Yeah. But the only reason I don't think they'll get Watson, and this is it, is I think Miami's offer is going to be way better.
Yeah, that's the only. Yeah, that's my thing
Deshaun
as
Watson,
well.
Do you want to go play in Carolina without Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, that's my thing as well. It's like Miami will be a better team. They've got the draft picks to give back. The only way I see it happening is they don't want to get egg on their face. They don't want to say they've basically traded, because they'll be getting back. Houston will be getting back their trades from Miami. So they're basically trading Deshaun Watson for Tunsil in the end. Like, that's the...
But I do think they would have done that in a heartbeat. I think they'd give you Tua and Tunsil in a heartbeat.
Yeah, easily.
So I'm okay. And they're already past that whole, we already filled in for Tunsil shit, right? Like, they made up for it. Yeah. I think, and if you're Houston, you get Tua. Let's say you get 3 first-round picks and a good but not great defensive player.
Yeah.
You just made your team better. You got a cheap young quarterback. You got these draft picks. You build around him and you go. I don't think Houston gets a better offer from anybody because, and I never thought I'd say this, but the Dolphins have the best package.
The Dolphins have the package to put together to go get him. And that's the thing, isn't it? Which then brings us down to the Texans, which we've both got Tua. Like that's the point, isn't it? We both have Tua there. So, not really much more to talk about that. I think Watson's getting traded before draft night. I think
it's a guarantee. They can say what they want. They're playing hardball. This kid said he's ready to sit out the whole year and eat that money, and I think he is. I think he is. And
Deshaun Watson's come from.
The longer you wait, not right now, but the second the league year opens, the longer you wait to the draft, the more people are going to try to lowball you. Your best offer is going to come between now and is it March 17th is the opening league year. So between now and March and St. Patrick's Day, you're going to have the best offer that you're going to get. You know what I mean?
And Deshaun Watson, the guy's come from nothing. He sits out this year, he loses 10 million, but he's already made 2-3 million. He's got sponsorship deals, no state tax.
That's it. The sponsorship money.
He can make a shed ton of money. What could actually work well for him is to sit out this year, go improve his brand, improve his business opportunities, put some businesses in. There's no state tax, so he can take in all of that money, and then he gets up and around 5, 6, 7 million,
You know what he could do also? He could pull a Carson Palmer and retire.
Yeah.
If you put in the retirement papers, they can't fine you now. Now, granted, you may have to kick back some of that signing bonus, but they can't fine you, right?
Yeah.
So then you wait till they have a high cap next year and then come back and drop that 40 million on their cap. And they got no choice but to get rid of you like Carson Palmer did to Cincinnati when he ended up in Oakland.
Yeah, and it's like he said, trade me. He said, trade me. I'm out. Like I'm sitting out. So they would kind of deserve it if they don't trade him. This is a new power to the quarterback that we're seeing now, and I think the Texans need to roll with it. We've also got the Seahawks, where I've gone for Russell Wilson, and if they don't have Russell Wilson because they've traded him to the Cowboys, they will use the 10th round draft pick to go get a quarterback. I haven't put enough thought into it to decide which quarterback that would be in the 10th round pick. You've gone for, you said that it's Lance. Trey Lance is who they would end up with.
Just because of where the pick is.
Yeah, just because of where the pick is. I think Trey Lance is the one. I think the Seahawks would have to go find somebody else to use as a bridge quarterback then.
Look, I like Kirk Cousins. I am not a Kirk hater like everybody else. I think he's good, not great. And I think you can win a Super Bowl with him, but he's not going to win you the Super Bowl. The Vikings need, with guys coming back, and I don't want to get into their whole team, they need some help, but not as much as people think because people opted out for COVID like Pierce, Hunter coming back, whatever, right? Yeah. They need offensive line, though. I would still pick Trey Lance with their overall pick and sit him behind Cousins. That's how much I like Trey Lance, but I do not like him as a guy to come in and start because of where he played. Like now, if you could get a Zach Wilson and you want to try to start him right away, go ahead.
Yeah, if Zach Wilson drops, then
I almost think you should sit Justin Fields also if you get him.
I would say Justin Fields could do with half a season, which is why the Panthers is a great place for him to go behind Teddy Bridgewater, just to kind of get used to the timings and stuff like that. But I think he's also gifted enough to kind of just in Herbert style, come in when needed and just get in. So let's say post-draft, okay? Let's say the Panthers end up with Justin Fields. Yeah.
Now, what about, and the Bears miss out on everybody. What about them calling up the Panthers and being like, what you want for 2 gloves?
Yeah.
Because I'd trade for Teddy 2 gloves if I ain't got nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
But
yeah, definitely. I think they give them a ring, and then the Panthers say, "Look, if you give us this, then we don't mind starting Fields,
right.
And it's a decent, but you would ask for a decent amount because you know how desperate they are."
Right, but even if you overpay and say you give a third round pick for Teddy, which would probably be overpaying post draft.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because
I would ask for even
compensation
more than that.
pre-draft and post-draft are completely
Yeah.
different, you know? So if
Yeah.
you gave up a third and you get Teddy over there, at worst, he steadies your ship. He's a professional and he's classy and his teammates love him.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers could also ask for, they could also say, well, why not give us Robert Quinn or someone like that from the defensive line, and then their defensive line can get after them, and that'll help Fields
and
a bit, I
if
suppose.
I'm the Bears and you want Robert Quinn, I'm going to be like, well, you got to give me Teddy and a pick now.
I don't know about that, because you know how desperate the Bears are.
I'd pay Nick Foles before I'd give up Robert Quinn for Teddy.
Yeah,
so you throwing me back. So
yeah, but I would say if I was the Panthers, then I wouldn't. Like, I would say if I was the Panthers, I would ask for that much in the hope that they reject it. So then you keep Teddy. But then if they take it, you're like rubbing your hands and you can't believe how lucky you've been. We're nearly done. We're on to number 11, which is the New Orleans Saints.
Jameis.
I've gone for Jameis. We've spoke about this already.
I mean, unless Breeze comes back and then it screws up my whole craziness of who I picked or who I didn't. And like I said, honestly, the only one I'm banking on being guaranteed to move is Watson. Everything else is speculation and conjecture, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And it's Watson, isn't it? Watson, and that's the only one who we can say. Obviously, we've not included the Jaguars in this because we know that Trevor Lawrence is going to be there as well.
Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, I think it'll be Trevor Lawrence, but only because of how highly you hear them speaking out of. But I was going to say, I think that's just Urban Meyer trying to make sure an Ohio State quarterback goes high. But
yeah, definitely.
You just never know, because just because me and you think somebody's better, teams shock us all the time. Look back to when the Cowboys drafted Fredericks, right?
Yep.
I was the only one who called them drafting him, I swear, but that's because I'm a Badger fan.
Yeah,
I knew the upside, right? My cousin Rob told me I was fucking crazy. It was too high. And I was like, no, it's not. This kid's a beast. Trust me. And Jerry did go for it. Again, I think it was Steven. But we don't always see it the same way teams do. So unless something like that, but I do say that it's probably.
Yeah, I think it would be suicide for them not to pick Trevor Lawrence. And if the Saints stay with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill.
Unless he wants too much money, then Taysom's your quarterback because if Jameis wants 8, 12, 15 million a year, I don't know if the Saints can pay it.
I think they'll find a way to find 8 million for their quarterback.
But even after, if I'm not mistaken, after Drew Brees signed for league minimum to lower the cap, they were still like 25 million over.
They're in trouble. They just need to get rid of players here.
All I'm saying is if Jameis wants to break the bank,
and
he could probably push a Chicago for 25.
Oh, you could definitely push a Chicago for 25.
So I'm just saying, now if you're Jameis, I would stay with Sean Payton and the Saints. I would play a year for cheaper and make my stock go up. But who knows? Maybe Jameis doesn't have as much faith in him as other people and he himself. And dude said, I'm going to take 3 years at 75 million. And now the Saints are stuck with Taysom Hill, but that's the only way I see that happen. Yeah,
that's the only way. And I don't think Taysom Hill's too big of an issue if he does end up as your quarterback. Like for their rebuilding year, like this year, 4 teams don't make the playoffs, and the Saints are going to be one of them. 4 teams don't make the playoffs that made it last year, and I think the Saints are going to be one of them.
I think Jameis can win you more games than Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, the reason I kind of want to see Jameis stay, as much as I kid about Sean Payton and the skull chant curse, I think he's a great head coach, and I think we'll truly see if Jameis can play or not.
Yeah, we'll see if Jameis is worth it. Yeah, and because then finally,
you take away the interceptions, Jameis is a great quarterback, but the interceptions make him below average.
Yeah, and I just think I think that's it. I think he's got the talent, he's got the arm, he's got like the creative flair to see a pass that nobody else sees. The issue is the reason nobody else sees it is because it's a pick. Like
right. It's bad decision making. And if Sean Payton can help him with his decision making.
Yeah.
Also, we've talked about this before. Bruce Arians, no risk it, no biscuit is not good for all quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It gets them beat up. It gets a lot of interceptions. Carson Palmer, we can go on and on. Big Ben, gets them killed. But so it may have been a Bruce Arians Jameis marriage that wasn't the best too. So we'll see. I think Sean Payton's the best place for Jameis, though.
He's the best place for Jameis.
A player for going for money.
Yeah, yeah. And to finish off, we've got what would be probably the biggest trade of them all, which is the Miami Dolphins. And we both said that's where Deshaun Watson's going to be in return for Tua. That will be the biggest trade we'll see. I think that'll be absolutely crazy.
And think about this, just on the scheme of football, right? Now, I know the Bills are good, but just hypothetically, what if the Miami Dolphins of all teams end up owning that division for 5 or 6 years in the future?
Yeah, after the past, I think that then makes that division crazy, where you've got the Bills, the Dolphins, and New England.
They'll get better. New England's going to get better.
New England are bound to get better. New England will get better.
Opted out for COVID.
Yeah, New England will get better. Who's the other team in that division? The Jets, right?
Jets.
Well, the Jets could end up with a pretty decent team after all their draft picks as well.
Okay, I really hope they go after Zach Wilson for their sake, or that I'm wrong on Sam Darnold. I am not one of these guys when I shit on Sam Darnold. I pray for him to be bad. I'm one of the guys who hopes he proves me wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm never, know me enough now to know that I'm not afraid to go, well, I was a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? That's just, but I think even with Darnold, they get better because I think they got the right head coach.
Yeah. And I agree. I like Darnold a lot. And I think that division from going dominated by one team will now be one of those chop and change in divisions for the next 5 years with the way that all 4 of those teams can end up being structured. You would think that the Jets could maybe take a game or 2 off the other teams if all their draft picks accumulate well and everything kind of goes right, and their defense is going to be better.
And think about this. So the Panthers draft at 6 or 7. I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, it's 8, I think.
Okay, 8. So you keep Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you even don't go back to 4 because everybody's talking about the trade, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that you trade back to 8 even, but you're going to get 8-2. You're going to get 2 first-round picks easy, couple seconds, a third, right, to build this team around Sam Darnold. And if you're the Jets, you're not trying to get 5 first-round picks this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there is a couple
you accumulate them as you go, yeah.
There is a couple teams, though, that have 2 picks this year, but we're going to see Miami give 2 of them to – right?
To Houston, yeah.
To Houston for Watson. But if you're the Jets and you can even go back to 8 and pick up another first-round pick, get 2 instead of 1 and a bunch of others, you're setting yourself with – you got young talent. Your defense is moving up in the right direction. You got the right coach for that defense. You got the right coach for motivation. You know what I mean? You got a classy dude who's never going to be low on energy, anything like that. So you build that team around Darnold, you can stack up some picks. So as long as you draft right, I think the Jets' biggest problem is ownership.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think Woody's a good owner.
Yeah, me neither. I think that your franchise can't be that bad for that long and it not be a question of ownership. Same with the Texans, who are going to be the big losers of this year. That they'll get Tua. I like Tua. I think Tua is okay. I just think they shouldn't have let this happen, where they've given away their picks and now they're having to beg for them back, basically, and give up their amazing quarterback because of their stupidity in front office.
Look at both the last 2 regimes of the front office, okay?
Yeah.
You give up a ton for a running back who doesn't really help you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not mad about you getting Tunsil, the left tackle. Good, not bad. Not mad at that at all, right?
Yeah, but that actually helps your young quarterback.
you trade your best receiver in Hopkins, who may be the best or at least top 3 receivers in football.
The league, yeah.
You trade him for a second-round fucking pick. A second-round fucking pick.
In a league, in a passing league.
And now the new regime comes in. They cut your running back that you paid a ton of money for.
Yeah.
They cut your center. They cut your best defensive lineman in J.J. Watt, which was a nice, classy thing.
That's a classy thing to do because they've done so many unclassy things recently. Deshaun
Watson on his way out the door. What the fuck just happened in the last 2 years? Like,
and they lost.
This is the most craziness I have seen.
And they didn't really gain
upgrade
anything
at all.
They didn't upgrade at all because they've lost. Because they're just getting their picks back effectively. They've gained Laramie Tunsil. They've upgraded left tackle for all of that.
Doesn't that almost mean that Miami played the shit out of them? Because I know this is everybody will get this one. It's almost what Miami just did to them is almost what Wall Street Bets just did to GameStop.
Yeah.
We played the shit out of you. We made you go broke. We bought low, sold high, bought low, sold high, and we walked away laughing at you. Because we pretty much gave you your picks back, a left tackle for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's what it is. And that is, as we look for our boards here, I think they're the only teams that could really see themselves losing out. Maybe the Steelers and the Bears, but that's not really through too much fault of their own. The Steelers could be a bit more aggressive in free agency.
And like we talked about,
picking,
maybe they are behind the scenes. Maybe they're one of those teams we're not hearing anything about, because I know as a football fan, but as a Vikings fan, Rick Spielman's on the phone. I don't know what he's calling about, but they don't call him Trader Rick for no reason. I know that Jerry Jones is on the phone and Stephen Jones trying to make that team better. We just haven't heard about it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
and you kind of trust the Steelers. Yeah. You kind of trust the Steelers. They're a well-run organization, so you kind of trust them as well.
And until, say, one of these big name quarterbacks who have a no trade, put them in the mix, we're not even going to talk about them.
Yeah, of course. So, and not like, that's the thing. And then the Bears kind of miss out just because they're the last name. They're just the last chair in the game of musical chairs. They're just the last chair. Their biggest mistake was not drafting Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson instead of Mitch Trubisky. That's the only thing they did wrong.
So if you're Pace, if you're Ryan Pace, do you really trade for Deshaun Watson? Because you're admitting, not only did I fuck up on Trubisky, we could have had this dude, and now I got to give up 4 first-round picks to fuck up, to fix the fuck up I made. Plus, not only did I screw up with Trubisky, I moved up to get him.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? And do you compound your mistakes with more mistakes by not wanting to go back and fix your mistakes? No, of course not. If the option does arise and you think it works really well for you, then give those 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. You shouldn't be thinking about that, but everybody does think about that. And that's how I think that's the only way that the Panthers end up with Watson as well. If Houston decide to say, nah, screw that, I don't want to double down on my mess up. But
yeah, it's okay. So the only way Nagy and Pace probably keep their job is to get Deshaun Watson. So in that thing, be a good idea. But I think the only way that Watson ends up in Carolina is if the Houston Texans say, I really like Christian McCaffrey more than Tua and the higher draft picks.
Yeah.
I think you agree with me, though. It's Miami's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah, Miami makes the most sense for all parties.
Plus, you can get 2 of those 3 first-round picks this year.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have to give up another player besides Tua. What I think it'll end up being 3 firsts, Tua, another defensive player, and then maybe some later picks. But like we'll worry about later. You can pick up later picks by trading back and trading players and that kind of stuff. So it's more of I want to see how many firsts you give up and seconds. If you give up seconds, that's more of where my trade, because we're assuming Tua and probably another player goes along with.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, basically to probably another player goes along with. Yeah, definitely. Awesome, man. That was a good round, I think. A lot of fun, that one. I'll keep
Yeah,
hold of
and
the list.
it makes the NFL more exciting. Like I said, even if Tua ends up, or Tua and Watson end up being the only swap trade, the NFL was so more exciting because we saw Stafford go, we saw Goff move, we saw Carson Wentz, the whole craziness behind that.
Yeah.
Watson's going to go. Now Russell Wilson speaking up, even if he doesn't get moved. You know what I mean? We got Drew Brees talking about maybe coming back. We're going to see the Steelers probably get stuck with Big Ben. The Bears get left without anybody. And then it's all going to rely on who do they go in the draft and get. Do you sell your farm or the farm to get up to get a young guy you're not sold on? I think this shit makes it a lot really exciting. And besides all the quarterback craziness, come March 17th, it's every free agent.
It's a new age of a new age of the NFL. It's a new age where everybody's. I wanted to ask, and you know this, Matty. I think it's a trend. Do you think this is a trend or a blip? Are we going to see more teams looking at their really good quarterbacks, but not great, and going, I really like them, but we can't win with a $40+ million quarterback unless he's Patrick Mahomes or, maybe Aaron Rodgers. So what do we do? And I think you're going to see more teams get rid of their quarterback after 5 years and then wanting that huge contract and starting over with a young guy, because these young guys in the NFL now, they're playing in a spread offense in the NFL, more like the college game. They're playing 7-on-7 all summer long. They're throwing the ball 10,000 times in the offseason. They're working with private quarterback coaches, like Palmer and different people. I think the quarterback position has changed, and you no longer need to sit a guy 2 or 3 years. Some guys you need to sit, but other guys can come in, take their lumps right away, and keep it moving. Yeah, I think it's kind of I think it's all to do with the NFL becoming more like the college game and the fact that these young quarterbacks now go to professional camps. We've known who Trevor Lawrence is. We've known who Justin Fields is since high school. Even
Elite 11.
And I live in the UK, and just because I've watched Elite 11, I've known them for that long and been able to follow their career and stuff like that. I think it's just a different world that we're coming into. I think when it comes to paying your quarterback, it all comes down to the percentage, doesn't it?
It's the salary cap.
So if the salary cap goes up, as we all expect it to go up, then what they're paying quarterbacks will be fine. But I think they'll be more careful of percentages. I think they'll be more careful of percentages now because they know they can go get someone.
When the cap goes up, they'll be fine for a year or two, but then guys are going to want 50. You know how that works.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I joke, but it's almost not a joke anymore that they're going to need a separate salary cap for quarterbacks. It's getting to that point. And just a shout out on the Elite 11. Not only will I watch anything football, I will watch anything Trent Dilfer. So if anybody's got anything bad to say about my boy Trent, we can't be friends. One of the greatest minds in football, analysts. I am glad to see him coaching a high school team. It's surprising to me that he's not on an NFL staff. I think a lot has to do with his family, and I have heard he's kind of hard to get along with sometimes, but great football mind. Love that dude. Yeah,
and I think that's a great place to finish the video. Below this, I'm going to leave the lists of what I've got as my changing quarterbacks and what Jay's got as his list of quarterback changes in the comments below this video. If you want to interact with us and tell us if you think we've missed anyone, or if you just disagree with us, or you just think we're both fucking idiots, then do please come and commentate with us. Please come and comment with us, and we'll have a little chat about it in the comments, and I'll try not to rinse anybody too hard this time.
I was going to say, if you like to go back and forth and debate, tell me I'm an idiot. If you want to be treated kindly and nicely, tell the Brit, because even when they're rude, they're not really rude. So I'm just saying, Matty's a nicer guy than me, so depending on how you want to go, I like being told that I'm wrong. Like I said, I live in the world of chaos. I enjoy it. I like dysfunctional functionality.
And let us know who you think has a better list as well. Let us know who you think's closer to what the actual what the actual picks are going to be. So thank you very much, guys. This was the Yankee and the Brit. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, like and follow if you're on Facebook, and comment in the things below. Jay, have you got anything to say?
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. There's always one thing that I forget whenever I get the opportunity to do these. So thanks very much, guys. Cheerio.
One world, one love. Deuces.